What's going on, man? What are you doing?
Oh, I threw it to you on purpose because you use cell phone. You are not allowed to use cell phone in class.
What? No! I'm just preparing for the next class.
Hello, everyone. Okay, actually, what I'm going to talk about today is the story of the mobile phone. Everyone might have a mobile phone. No matter the brand of the phone is Apple, Xiaomi, Samsung, or others. Does anyone know where they come from? What have they gone through before being in your hands? If you don't know the answer, that's okay. Today we are going to use the mobile phone as the theme to discuss the relationship between human rights and economy. Before the course starts, let's watch a simply interesting video.
Section 5, give it a limit.
Have you watched this short film? Do you know who this interesting worker is? It is Trevor, who pressed Charlie, a factory employee. What age do you think Charlie's background may be? Perhaps you have discovered that. Yes, he was actually in an era of industrial production with a highly specialized division. He is a fitter on the factory assembly line. He does the same work every day. And we can also see in the opening that the upper supervisors asked to speak of the production line in order to increase production efficiency. In the end, the mustache Charlie was crazy. Maybe you think these are just black and white movies hundreds of years ago, which can be exaggerated. Indeed, his description is wittier and exaggerated. However, the similar scenarios does actually happen in our lives in the modern society. Taking mobile phone as an example, from the beginning, the superior company will come up with the functions and appearance of the new phone, and then it will start to ask several suppliers to produce, assemble, test, and packaging, and so on. And then, they send it to the mobile phone store. Finally, these mobile phones will be bought by the consumers. Among the suppliers, the largest is the Foxconn factories. They are responsible for many parts such as the production of mobile phones, tablets, and laptop components. In 2010, several suicide events happened in the Foxconn company in a short period of time, which was generally attributed to personal factors after the investigation. But why did the miseries happen so frequently? The reasons behind it are worth exploring. According to the robot sleepwalking documentary that won the Level Award, a survivor who jumped from the building at the time, Tian Yu, encountered some problems before jumping. Let's take a look at what the video said.
他被分到了一个宿舍，宿舍里面有8个人，8个人来自于不同的厂区，就是完全不同的生产线，然后早班和晚班也不同。就是田玉，就是说他甚至不能回忆起来，就是那里面的人的名字。然后这8个人其实平时也很少的见面，然后他年纪是最小的，所以他也不敢跟他们说话，所以他就形容那个寝室可能就是说非常的冷冰冰。非常的就是说孤立，这样子。他在富士康就是也没有什么朋友，唯一一个朋友就是和他一起被分到龙华厂区来的一个人。他们一个人，然后在富士康平时也不敢出去玩，因为附近就是一些什么迪厅或者说一些网吧，他们也不适应进去，就是去逛超市，就是去把这些超市的东西就是放到篮子里面，然后做坏又拿回来，这是就是唯一的一种娱乐活动。
We can find out that she had no opportunity to socialize in the dormitory because the company stacked the employees in various shifts, and the roommates are from different hometowns and had a big language barrier. Let's continue to watch.
大概是一个月，在这一个月当中，就是他有一次，他爸爸走的时候花了300-400块钱给他买了一个手机，山寨手机。然后他不小心洗衣服就掉到水里面，就是泡坏了，没有办法和外面联系了。然后后来工作了1个月，身上没有钱了，然后就想去要工资，所有人都有工资卡，但就是他没有。然后他前一天就是已经工作了整晚，然后第2天可能应该是要睡觉，但没有睡觉去要他的工资。所以他就从龙华厂区一大早坐了大概1个多小时的车到关南厂区，在关南厂区的就是厂区里面就走来走去，别人跟他说是在这栋楼，他到了这栋楼之后，别人说在另外一栋楼，到了另外一栋楼，别人说在这一栋楼，跑了就是整就是一上午，然后一中午，没有人告诉他应该去找谁，然后那里的人都非常的屌，就是还骂他。他一赌气就说算了，我不要了，我就回来。然后一摸身上没有钱，没有什么办法，那就从关南走到龙华。平时坐车都要坐1个多小时，他大概可能一直走到晚上，走到了就是回到寝室。回到寝室晚上也应该要去上班的，但是他实在太累了，就没有去上班。因为那时候他正在上夜班，然后就躺在床上，整个腿都麻掉了，然后就很气。然后也不知应该要找谁，晚上都没有睡觉，手机又丢了，一时就是想不开，然后就从3楼，走到了4楼，从4楼的楼梯口就跳下去了。
From this clip, we can see that in the end of the first month, she did not get the salary as scheduled. Then she got a pest response from the upper class, saying her car was missing and denying the responsibility. What would you do if you encounter such a helpless situation? According to the USCBS report, Tian Yu also mentioned her job at Foxconn was to check the screen to ensure that products had not been scratched. Repeating this kind of work every day for 10 hours. The technical staff of the engineering department will arrange time for each task, and the workers will continue to increase the quota when they reach the quota target. But if you can reach the quota, you can't rest. During work, Tian Yu must maintain a certain posture and her chair must remain within the prescribed line. When walking, someone is always supervising. If someone is not focused, they will be severely warned or even punished. Such a walking situation made Tianyu from the countryside feel the separation of body and soul. Plus, she was unable to receive a salary at that time, so she chose to jump off the building to leave this helpless world. In addition, everyone should know that an iPhone can cost you 20,000 to 30,000 NT dollars. But do you know what is the salary level of a Foxconn's lower level employees? According to the South China Morning Post, Foxconn's Zhengzhou factory has an assembler's hourly salary of less than $2. Is about 60 NT dollars. Compared to the average monthly salary of Zhengzhou in 2018 is about 32,000 NT dollars, while the monthly salary of Foxconn Zhengzhou factory is only about 10,000 NT dollars. Many people either work overtime or quit in this situation. Next, we will look inside Foxconn through the report of ABC News.
Her name is Xiao Ying. She's a 27-year-old mother of two, and she makes a living slicing apples, trimming aluminum burrs from those iconic iPad logos. She has helped make hundreds of thousands of these coveted gadgets, but since it would take 3 months' salary to buy an iPad of her own, this is the first time she's ever seen the final product, and her eyes light up.
That's my daughter, yeah. She likes climbing trees.
Your daughter is cute, naughty, she says, which is poignant since her kids live 2 hours away and she can afford to see them just once a month. But this is typical for most of the 235,000 who work in this one Foxconn complex. Many leave distant villages where families live in rooms like this.
How do you stay warm?
To share a dorm room like this with 7 strangers. Foxconn attracts a lot of business by having workers close to the assembly line. They spend 12 hours a day in the factory with 2 one-hour meal breaks to march single file to a massive canteen for meat and rice. And if they eat fast enough, they'll grab a nap back at their spot on the line. And if Foxconn ever needs more workers, there are always crowds of applicants like this, all hoping to earn a wage Americans haven't seen since the 1950s.
In the video, we can see the employee interviewed touch the product every day. But it is the first time she touched a product that was eventually sold to consumers. Of course, these problems are not limited to Foxconn. Many suppliers have these problems. As we just saw in the entire production line, these lower-level employees are: first, do the same work every day. The person who assembles will assemble it every day. And the person who checks the dust will check the dust every day, which is not connected with one's own inner side. The situation makes the labor behavior alienation. Second, even if they are so close to these advanced products, they have no connection to them at all. They only work for survival, not for self-realization. Third, there is no interaction between colleagues because of restriction and competition. Therefore, in such a distorted state, one has no sense of accomplishment in what they produce. These problems were recognized by Marx hundreds of years ago, and Marx called this phenomenon labor alienation. The circumstances above are due to capitalism. Through exploitation and unequal wages and treatment, capitalists have made these workers have no work dignity in order to pursue efficiency and reduce costs. what we generally call economic human rights is. In fact, the protection of human beings' inherent right to earn a living. And it is also a right to be free from poverty or have fair participation in economic distribution. Taking the example of the Foxconn factory we just mentioned, as far as its two problems are concerned. One of them is the low wage paid to labor. The working environment needs to be strengthened. Even the interpersonal relationships of employees are also separated, causing excessive pressure on employees and many tragedies. This also means that their economic activities have threatened their lives. In addition, the economic activity also violates the justice of distribution. According to the book, The Life and Death Behind Apple Foxconn Workers on the Production Line. In the Foxconn system, it is a pyramid type. At the top is the chairman and many deputy directors and managers. And at the bottom are the lower level workers, who assemble these parts for them. According to the salary ranking data of listed companies published by the stock exchange, it can be found that the salary of lower level employees and supervisors is far from each other. Foxconn's lower level employees have a monthly salary of about $10,000 NT. Only by working overtime can they get close to the average salary. But the average annual salary of non-supervisors is about 2 or 3 million. It is conceivable that the salary of managers is much higher. This salary distribution is somewhat uneven. However, after the jumping events, Foxconn not only increased the wage for the workers in the factory, but also provided employees the opportunity to participate in leisure activities such as employee travel. We could say that the company has made efforts to improve the working environment for labor. Although, according to the Fair Labor Association, there are still problems of workers working overtime. Compared to the past, it can be said to be a major breakthrough in economic human rights. Speaking of which, do you think this is the only part of the problem?
Really?
In fact, it is not only the mobile phone components factory that have such labor problems.
A few minutes later.
Every time we keep bobbing our phone, we complain from time to time how the endurance of the phone is getting worse. However, for the battery behind the phone, do you think where the original raw materials came from? In fact, according to Fortune magazine, far away in Africa, there are about 110,000 to 150,000 miners who sell lives for electricity storage, and many of them are children. Their blood and sweat are accompanied by the smelting and processing of cobalt ore to make lithium batteries, which are tucked into the back shell of mobile phones and become a pain that has not been noticed by billions of users around the world. Let's watch a clip now. There are also lower-level employees who cannot be protected by economic and human rights. Because of time limit, we are not going to talk more about this. If you are interested, you can search it online. Okay, we discussed the issue of labor in economic human rights, but what can we do to protect them? When the battery is no longer working and is no longer used, have you wondered where these broken mobile phones go? Perhaps everyone may run it for a well-known phone like the person in the film, or use old phones for new ones according to the way of the telecommunications provider. Or maybe they could be recycled to the recycling site together with electrical appliances, which are not needed at home. It seems that we are all moving in the direction of environmental protection and good waste sorting. But does anyone know how these electronic products are recycled? Now, let's watch a clip to know where they are going.
It's just dumping. Nobody wants them in their backyard, in Europe, in the United States. So they find a way to dispose them here. This is the Korle Lagoon. It once teemed with so much fish, but this is what is left of the lagoon. There's nothing to show. It's just e-waste sitting in the lagoon. The water is so polluted. Nothing ever lives in here. Nothing survives.
It is where the mobile phone goes after we discard them. With the rapid development of technology and the introduction of new products, take iPhone X as an example. iPhone 6 was popular only a few years ago. However, Apple company is ready to launch iPhone 12 and started providing updates for the versions before iPhone 6. So, users have to go and buy a new one. For some fans of these brands, so their old phones are not broken yet. As soon as there are new products launched, they will buy them. This makes the speed of replacing old with new far less than the speed of electronic waste recycling and decomposition. These electronic wastes are actually collected by specialized agencies, but in fact, only 20% of the electronic wastes are recycled to the correct place. According to the Global E-Waste Monitor 2020, compared with 2014, the amount of e-waste in 2019 is more. Global e-waste documented to be collected and properly recycled in 2019 was about 17.4%, and the undocumented global e-waste are about 80.6%. Part of undocumented e-waste is likely dumped, traded, or recycled in the harmful to environment. And another part of undocumented e-waste is estimated to end up in general waste bins. that is being illegally transported to countries in the third world. And these people are taking our resource, and their lives are at a lower level and margin than the factory employees we just talked about. For example, Guiyu, Guangdong, China has the title of Cancer Village. Why do they get this title? It is because of electronic waste. The way they deal with electronic waste is mainly incineration and acid pickling. The most common way is that workers use fire to melt the plastic shell of electronic products and then extract the chips, or soak in an acidic solvent so that valuable metals can be released. Because electronic waste contains heavy metal substance, a large amount of toxic substance such as lead and tin. When they are released, it pollutes the local soil and air and prevents crops from growing. In addition, people are also suffering from accumulated toxins, causing irreparable regrets in health.
You may say, stop them from doing these things. However, in fact, these people are not unaware. They don't care in the short term because they only want to earn meager salary to keep the work from the door. Therefore, from the above, we can know that when we use these things, there are many sacrifices of labor and human rights behind us. Capitalism exploits labor in order to reduce costs. In the process of exploiting labor, capitalists can have a strong competitive niche in the product market. Speaking of which, everyone knows where the mobile phones go.
Then one day, when we buy new versions of mobile products, and the old ones have already been put in the doghouse and no longer in use, what should we do?
I wonder if it can be fixed.
Perhaps before discarding, we should cherish this resource more and understand that there are hard works created by many people. Think about the bitter blood and tears of these people while producing. We should use the product to maximum possibility, instead of discarding and repressing due to pursuing fashion. We should maximize the life cycle of product. Reduce, recycle, and reuse is the way to solve the problem.
In sum, human beings start a series of economic activity in order to survive. But not everyone is equal, such as poor birth or poor acquired environment make many people not only lose the chance of fair competition, but also the right to survive in the economic field. They became a group of empty subjects with no dignity, no home, and no future. Therefore, we should understand that everyone has the right to live in the world with dignity. No matter whether you become a producer or a consumer, you must not forget this core value. Do more of your civic responsibility and become an active and responsible consumer. All we can do is promote environmental protection or labor and human rights through consumption choices. So, before buying, ask yourself, do I really need it? Before the end of the course, there are several videos and books I would like to recommend to everyone. Just like this and this. They are linked in the information column below. You can search it.
In the next class, we will talk about the relationship between human rights and political participation. You can think about it first. As a student, what channel can you take to participating politics? Thanks for your watching.